Hey everyone, my name is AJ, and today we're going to be continuing our journey in the friendly tournament that I took part in over on Twitter. Last time, I discussed my team members, the effort values that I used for each one, and the movesets that I settled on before we jumped into our first match, which proved to be a bit of an uphill struggle. You can check it out in the playlist linked in the description. We have 2 more battles to take part in to determine our ranking in Charizard group and to see if we can make it to the playoffs. Let's do this. Our first battle is against Marcus, and he starts things off by sending out a Volcarona and a Togekiss, while we start off with Tyranitar and Lycanroc. Let's hope we get a better start than we did last time. Tyranitar lets off a Mighty Roar to call in a Sandstorm, as Lycanroc then uses the sand to boost his already impressive speed stat to further heights. I suspect the Volcarona is going to try set up with Quiver Dance and attempt to sweep my team, so I know it needs to go down fast. Togekiss starts off with Follow Me to draw the attention of my Pokemon. Unfortunately for Marcus, Box Slide hits both opponents, so Follow Me is of no use as we crack Volcarona with a flurry of rocks for a one-hit kill. Togekiss, however, was able to zip through the air to avoid Lycanroc's attack. She is, however, unable to dodge another as Tyranitar takes her down to red health, and the Sandstorm damage then leaves her with just a sliver. With that opener, we're off to a much stronger start than our battle against Luke. Our opponent sends out a Dracovish, another Pokemon that might cause us an issue. At this point, we should probably have switched to Gastrodon for the Water Absorb, but instead, we go for the double Rock Slide, hoping for a flinch. Lycanroc finishes off Togekiss, but the deformed fish avoids the attack, only to counter with a superpowered Vicious Rend that takes down our armor Pokemon in one go. Whoops, maybe I got a little bit overzealous there. The Sandstorm then chips away some of Dracovish's health, and we send out Zacian to replace Tyranitar, while our opponent brings out his Dragapult. Unfazed at facing off against double dragons, Lycanroc lets off a Mighty Hill, causing another Rock Slide to tumble down across the battlefield, burying both opponents under a mountain of rubble. Undeterred, Dragapult launches a Steel Wing that knocks Lycanroc off his feet. Like a true champ, he hangs on with 21 HP. Zacian then launches a Play Rough to send Dragapult back to the afterlife and brings the battle down to a 5-on-3. Lycanroc's Rock Slide has left Dracovish dazed, and thanks to the flinch, he's unable to attack this turn. Marcus then counters with a shiny Aegislash. Isn't it pretty? Anticipating a King's Shield, I forgo a direct attack in Aegislash this turn to launch a tried and tested Rock Slide, only for poor Lycanroc to fall to a Shadow Sneak instead. Zacian then launches his second Play Rough of the match, and this time sends his opponent back to the prehistoric age where he belongs. Bye bye. I send out Excadrill and immediately call for a Dynamax with a Steel Mold Pokemon. Not only do our max moves deal increased damage, but they allow us to deal damage to Aegislash through King's Shield, which we are once again anticipating. Our opponent then calls for his own Dynamax, and recalls his freshly sent out Corviknight to infuse it with the Dynamax energies from within his Wishing Star. Corviknight then grows to colossal size and takes flight in its G-Max form. Aegislash then enters his shield stance and uses King's Shield to protect itself from our attacks. However, Excadrill burrows underground to launch an explosive quake that proves too much for the Spirit Shield to handle, and a resulting blast of sand gathers around our team to boost their special defense stat. Having expected the King's Shield, Zacian sets his mouth on fire and takes a bite at Corviknight's wings instead, burning away almost half of his HP. A disgruntled Corviknight gathers his Dynamax energies and launches a Max Steel Spike in return, dealing an equal percentage of damage to Zacian, while increasing the defense of both himself and Aegislash. At this point, Corviknight strikes me as a bigger threat than the Aegislash, so I start off the turn with a Max Rockfall, hoping to deal enough damage to allow Zacian to finish the job with a Sacred Sword. We decide to go for Sacred Sword over Fire Fang, as it ignores the defense boost that Corviknight was granted the previous turn. Unfortunately, we fall short, and another Max Steel Spike weakens Zacian to just 22 HP. Aegislash then once again changes form and uses a sacred sword of his own to slice and dice our Iron Mole down to half health. Aegislash once again uses King's Shield as we launch a max Rockfall at Corviknight, flattening the Raven Pokemon's HP and removing him from the fight. After the Dynamax energy explodes out of Corviknight, he shrinks back down to size and is returned to his Pokeball for a well-earned rest. Zacian then finishes up the turn with a Sacred Sword, but thanks to King's Shield, he suffers an attack drop instead. With that last turn, the max has been reduced to a 4-on-1. As Excadrill shrinks back down to size, we launch a high horsepower to trample Aegislash into red health. Realising that Sacred Sword won't actually hit Aegislash because it's part Ghost, Zacian instead readies his Fangs of Fire to melt away the remainder of Aegislash's HP, netting us the win. Thankfully, that battle went more smoothly than the first, and some of our confidence has been restored. With 2 wins under our belt, we have secured a place in the playoffs, but we have one more match to find out our overall ranking in Charizard group, so let's get into the final match against Wills. Will starts off with Raja the Inteleon and Nina the Rapidash, while we start off the battle with a tried and tested duo, Tyranitar and Lycanroc. Tyranitar's ability kicks in and a sandstorm starts to blow across the battlefield. I really wish we had equipped some goggles at this point. Lycanroc wastes no time in getting to work with his standard opening play, Rock Slide. Considering I brought him as a stealth rock setter, I don't think we've even bothered to set it up once. Who needs these sneaky pebbles anyway? All you need is the raw power, right? Raja then flinches under the strain of taking a Rock Slide to the face, while Nina dazzles her opponents, chipping away some of their HP. Tyranitar follows in Lycanroc's footsteps, taking Raja out of commission, while Nina gracefully leaps to safety, avoiding the attack. Lady the Heliolisk is then sent into battle to provide some support for Nina, and Lycanroc fires off yet another Rock Slide. Lady skillfully dodges the attack, and I'm starting to think the Raging Sandstorm is causing some issues with Lycanroc's sight. Nina isn't so lucky as the Rock Slide finishes her off before she can make an attack of her own. Tyranitar is then stricken with paralysis from a Thunder Wave, before bringing more rocks pouring onto the battlefield and rendering Lady unable to battle. Rebecca the Aromatisse and Phoebe the Gardevoir are then sent into battle. Phoebe's ability kicks in, and she copies Lycanroc's Sand Rush, increasing her speed so long as the sandstorm rages on. We recall Tyranitar and send out Excadrill, as the Steel typing gives them an advantage over the opposing Fairy-type Pokemon. Lycanroc goes for the tried and tested Rock Slide. That really is an amazing move for doubles. This time, Lycanroc takes the time to aim properly, and both their opponents take the hit. Phoebe suffers a flinch, and Rebecca draws in the power of the moon and launches an attack at our Iron Mole. That was a lucky switch, as that could have done some serious damage to Tyranitar. In the following turn, we Dynamax Excadrill. Surprise, surprise. I hope the rest of the team don't get jealous that he's the chosen one, which will bring balance through the power of Dynamax. Lycanroc does his thing and drops more rocks. I promise that other moves do get used, just not today. True to form, only one of our opponents takes the hit as Phoebe uses her psychic powers to predict the path around the falling rocks. A Max Steel Spike finishes off Rebecca and raises her team's defense stat as Phoebe goes for a Dream Eater. I guess we messed up a combo attack there. Leftovers tops up Phoebe's health as Alakazam joins the fray. I'm sure you can guess the following turn of events, as Phoebe is crushed under some rocks, while Alakazam hangs on with yellow health. However, the following Max Steel Spike is too much for him to handle, and Alakazam is knocked out, giving us our third win. With that, we have managed to blast burn the competition in Charizard group to the ground, or more accurately, destroy half the world with our non-stop rock slides. Now that we're in the playoffs, we'll be fighting the runner-up from Blastoise group as our first opponent. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It would be great if you could leave a comment below and let me know what you think of my team, and leave some appreciation for all my opponents who have kindly agreed to let me show footage of our battles. Join me next time, where we'll see if we can survive the playoff stages and snatch the crown to become the champion in the finale of the tournament mini-series. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one.